This time we're building Hobbiton, and the Black Riders are coming for a visit. You have seen me build Hobbit holes before, but this time we're going big. Well, yeah, for this scale at least. Welcome to... I'm getting a little bit tired of this part now. Like I said, you've seen me build single Hobbit holes before. And in this video, I will not focus so much on the cutting of styrofoam or the landscaping with modeling compound. Here I'm borrowing some clips from the previous video, and I would recommend this video if you want to see more about this fundamental process. When I come up with ideas for these Middle-earth landscapes, I really love to envision the scenes that we didn't really get to read about in the books so much or see in the movies. So the idea with this diorama is the Black Riders are coming to Hobbiton and looking for baggins. And there they will of course meet something they did not expect. If you are the Witch King of Angmar or one of the other Nazguls, you assume that the little folk of the Shire would be pretty scared of you. But hobbits are not regular folk. There is something peculiar at work here. In the first book in the trilogy, Gandalf is telling Frodo about the power in Rivendell that can withstand the evil of Mordor for a while. He also mentions that there is another kind of power in the Shire. In this video I would like to ponder a little bit about what that power could be. But first things first, I've had a few requests from people asking me how I build my ground vegetation. And my secret weapon here is very finely sieved colored sawdust. And I basically cover the whole ground with this, working in patches. I start to decide where the trees are going to be, and there I mimic the fallen dried leaves. After that I work in different shades, from the really dried dead grass, through different shades of green, up to really lush and fresh grass. I work with diluted PVA glue and apply a little bit at a time, of course, so that it doesn't dry out. And this process is really rewarding because this weird chocolate Hobbiton that we had before is now turning into the natural, pristine and lush green Hobbiton that we all love so much. So this is how it looks after the sawdusting process. Then it's time to add moss. And this time we're using shredded and colored sponge. And of course, to be realistic, we have to discern where moss would naturally grow. In the stairs, on the walls and on the stones. When it's time for the static grass, I also here work in patches. And I use a variety of different grass kinds, ranging from 1 mm to 4 mm. The first static grass here is a 2 mm bright green. So this is how Hobbiton looks after a first round of static grass. Next up is one of my favorites. It is a 2.5 mm grass that is called Spring Meadow, but I've also mixed in different colors of dried sawdust in this one, to mimic a flowering meadow. And I think you might agree that it is difficult to get too much flowers in the Shire. There is a slight risk here though that our visitors in black is starting to get a little bit uncomfortable. The last round of static grass is a mix between a 4 mm arid and a 4 mm medium green, to get this dried out look. in some patches here and there. Then I do some dry brushing with yellowish green and green to get the moss and lichen effect on some of the fences, stairs, stone walls and stones. I find that in the 10mm scale you can do a lot with the brush. With the brush you could also spread more diluted PVA glue to start applying the first layer of shrubs. This is more colored and shredded sponge, but a little bit bigger this time to mimic the lower shrubs in this landscape. And after this, it's time for me to try something completely new, which often demands a cup of coffee. Because I want to try to recreate this really overgrown look that we love about the Shire. So I'm coming in again here with the colored sawdust, and this time I'm using different fractions to try to create creepers and climbers of different kinds. So we want some ivy climbing on the hobbit holes and on the stone walls and on the fences. We also need beans climbing on the bean poles and of course hops for the hobbit ale. The trick here was to start with a little bigger fraction of the sawdust and then coming in with a smaller one to mimic the smaller leaves. And with that, I would say that there is just one important step left in the ground vegetation process, which is of course all the flowers and vegetables that is going to grow here. If you're curious about how I craft all these flowers and vegetables, please let me know in the comments and I might post something on that. For now, let's just enjoy completely flooding Hobbiton in this flowering beauty. With the flowers, of course, we focus the gardens, and I'm imagining that Rosie's mom here will have one of the more flowering gardens, together with old Gaffer Gamgee, our beloved gardener, of course. But now the Gaffer is much more focused on driving off black riders. The sheer beauty of the Shire is of course one aspect of its power. The hobbits love everything that grows, and they cherish and treasure the nature around them. In the Shire you seem to very much appreciate what you have. The beauty and the abundance of the landscape, the good food and the good drink you grow, and the beloved pipeweed, of course. The beauty of the autumn leaves and the spring flowers, the summer heat and the nice shade beneath the trees, and the occasional snow in the winter. Let's see what the Witch King of Angmar says about some flowers. Hey, just kidding, man. Let's make some pumpkins instead. Yeah, there's a good example of someone who does not appreciate beauty. The pumpkins here are simply made out of air drying clay and a little piece of wire, which then gets some paint. The cabbage is made out of painted coriander seeds and cucumbers of painted cumin seeds. So, why do we feel so much at home with the images of the Shire and what we read about it? Is it this power we feel that Gandalf is talking about? Can it be as simple as being content with what you have? I believe that this is underestimated. It's actually huge. The hobbits don't seem to reach for the stars or strive for any development in particular. They are happy where they are at. And they don't strive or grasp for more. In the Shire, you retire when work is done, and you're not afraid of leisure and rest. And what happens when you stop striving for more? Yeah, you're done. You're home. You are where you are supposed to be. Now let's manufacture some trees and shrubs. I have already posted some videos on this, but if you want to see more, let me know. There is nothing complicated about this, but as we just concluded, simplicity can often be the most beautiful thing. We are adding some final details, hay for the cows, and the trees and shrubs. With that, our little Hobbiton scene is close to being complete, and I will soon leave you with some footage of the finished diorama. I don't know why I always wait with painting the doorknobs. It has become some kind of weird tradition. And speaking of simplicity, why not make this insanely difficult? Everyone is getting the same doorknob, because in my Shire there is only one doorknob maker. It's this guy. And he's chilling out with a beer, because now everyone in Hobbiton already has a doorknob. Let us now enjoy the scenes where, for instance, Lobelia and Otto Sackville Baggins are defending their beloved Bag End. There is a total of 15 tough hobbits defending the Shire against 5 invading Black Riders in this diorama. And since this scene is taking place in the evening in the book, we need to be able to turn off the lights. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments, and like and subscribe if you would like to see more. Take care now.